And look, believe me, it is super easy to rationalize. I know because I do. Okay? And yet I still somehow have 8 kids. But when Laura told me she was pregnant.
That was number 7.
Number 7. I look really happy here, don't I? Isn't that cute? I was freaking out. Right? What was I thinking about? Oh, how am I going to pay for the wedding? It's probably going to be another girl.
It was.
And it was. Literally, 4 kids in a row. Every time she told me she was pregnant, like milliseconds after, I'm like, what car are we going to have? Like, I had to go. I went from a Malibu to a minivan to a bigger minivan to a Suburban, and now we have a 12-passenger Transit, right? But I had to buy a new car. And I'm like, how are we going to make this work? You're thinking about college and private schools. It's really easy to rationalize. Hey, this is crazy, babe. We can't have another kid. How would we do all this stuff? The world scares you. And that's the key point I want to make. It's not real. Don't believe the hype. It scares you. Kids are not as scary and as expensive as the world would have you believe. We're living proof. Okay? We're not rich by any means. And we live a damn good life. And I can't imagine my life without my kids. Because I had basically the guts to know that 1 second after I'm having all those thoughts, this is what I'm really signing up for. Right? This is why I'm actually smiling in this picture. Because I'm thinking about these times. Right? You can't buy these times. You know, it says do not be afraid in the Bible 365 times. That's not a coincidence, right? 365 times. God's got your back every single day. When he says do not be afraid 365 times, he's saying, this is important. I got you. You live for yourself, right? You live to be comfortable. You live a scared life. That's fine, right? But you'll be giving up so much. You'll be giving up things you'll never know. And that's almost the scariest part, right? So do not be afraid. Don't let the world scare you. Do not buy the hype. So, what does a child actually cost? Let's break it down real quick, all right? So it's really cute for Pelar to stand up here and be like, hey, don't be scared. But let's break it down. Let's look at the actual numbers, okay? So, now this is an incremental cost. So you've had, let's call it 2 kids, right? Let's say you've had a boy and a girl, right? So you're going to be able to share clothes or whatever it is. Incremental cost. Well, every month, food is going to cost you $0 for the first 6 months if you're breastfeeding. If you're not, what are you thinking? 50 bucks. Tack on 50 bucks to this total.
Costco.
Yeah, by the way, if you have children and you don't have a Costco membership, you're doing it wrong. Okay, get a Costco membership because diapers are like free at Costco compared to Kroger. Diapers a month for a child, 30 bucks. Clothes, this is generous.
Very generous.
Very generous. I mean, I don't spend 50 bucks a month per kid on clothes. Heck no. But let's just say you did, right? Doctor bills, again, probably pretty generous. You're going to the doctor early on, but insurance is covering most of it. You've got co-pays. Not the end of the world. Let's say you have 50. And then let's just say 50 bucks for stupid stuff. Ice cream.
McDonald's.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Right? So, 180 bucks. 180 bucks a month is what we're talking about for that third kid. 180 bucks a month. What is that? What's 180 bucks a month? Right? Somebody will say, I can't afford that third kid, but they're driving a Suburban. The difference between a Suburban and Malibu? 180 bucks. What is it, 200? 250? It's probably more.
And it could be used.
Right?
Doesn't have to be new.
Half cable bill. Half my cable bill it could be 180 bucks. Half cable bill and half my phone bill if I combine them. Right? I know people who have shoes that are 180 bucks. I've had a pair of shoes that are 180 bucks. We go out to dinner at a really nice place, 150 bucks, 180 bucks, easy. A couple glasses of wine. Right? Ticket to a concert. Ticket to a Lions game. Right? Shopping at Whole Foods all month or shopping at Kroger all month. These are the things that's 180 bucks. Right? So you can say, hey, we can't afford it, but really you probably could. The question we ask ourselves is, if we have this child, will we end up on the street? Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's too far to go. That's how we view it. But I think asking about sacrificing this for a soul into this world, for a child that you get forever, right? You would look at it and go, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Joey. That's Joey, right? Yeah, that's Joey. Okay. So, a quick question. What if, what's your name?
John.
John. Okay, John. If John said, Pilar, it's cute and all, your kid, he's like the cutest kid I've ever seen. 10 G's right now, give me your kid. What am I going to say? No, you're going to have my kid for 10 G's. 100 grand, Pilar. No, John, you can't have my kid. Stop asking. Pilar, I'll give you $10 million for your kid. No, you're not. You can't have my kid for $10 million, right? What's a child worth? Would you actually give up a kid for anything?
Priceless.
It's priceless, right? I'd take a bullet for any of my kids. There's no amount of money in the world that I would get or I would take for any of my children. Right? So think about that. So here's the thing that scares people. Here's what people fall into the trap. Oh, Flora, you forgot all about these things when you were talking about your monthly expense. Wants. This is the only reason we talk about wants versus needs. I want to hammer that into you, right? The world tells you paying for college, getting them a new car, getting them an iPhone, getting them the best clothes. The world tells you those aren't wants, those are needs. What do you mean? I can't have a kid unless I know how to pay for its college. Right? So I have here, Joey's question about wants. Is it on the next slide or no? I always forget. No, okay. Joey's question about wants. Hey, Joey, if I can pay for your brother's college, then you can't be born. Is that okay? What's he going to say? Right? So people are like, Pelar, how are you going to pay for college? I have no idea. But I bet you he appreciates me not caring right now how I'm going to pay for their college so that he could be born. Right? It's just a perception thing. You just got to think about it that way, and all of a sudden, all the world's lies kind of don't make so much sense anymore, right? So we're going to do a quick exercise, okay? A little complicated. Try and follow me here, all right? So raise your hand if you have at least one parent. So think about your parents. If you have at least one parent, doesn't have to be both, just one, who have two or more siblings. Raise your hand. One parent who have two or more siblings. Okay, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Keep your hand up if either parent, so either one that you're thinking about, or this parent has to, either parent was the third child or later. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up.
Most.
All right, most of the hands up. Most of the hands up. Okay. What's my point? Okay, in 2017, the average family has 2.2 kids. That means if your hand stayed up, if your grandma lived today and had 2.2 kids, you literally wouldn't have been born. Think about that for a second. You wouldn't be here. If your hand was down, but your fiance's wasn't, they're not here. So what are we doing as a society who's having 2.2 kids? Right? Laura and I sit. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But what are we doing? Right? Think about the lot. Think about if it was your hand. Think about you don't get a chance at life. You're literally not here. You don't exist. Your soul never existed. Or if your hand was down, and you're lucky enough to be one of those people who got to keep their hands down, and your spouse wasn't. How different would your life be? Right? Whose life are you impacting? Did it again. All right. This is our family.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. Ben, I don't know what that was. Right? This is our family. This is what my family would look like if I had 3 kids.
And we only say 3 because we had twins.
Yeah. Right? I can't imagine this on Christmas. It tears me up. I hate doing this part of this presentation because I look at this. And how much joy every one of these kids bring to me, and I think that this is all I would have gotten. Right? I could have drove the Suburban. I could have gone to the games. Right? We would have had more money in the bank. I could have retired probably earlier. I'd probably have a boat if I wanted it. But who would be missing? When Laura and I sit down at our kitchen table and we eat dinner, we never have to worry about looking out and wondering who's not here.
Who's missing?
We don't think about who's missing from our dinner table. Because we put our trust in God. Because we didn't believe the lie of the world. We didn't buy into the hype. And now we get to live the fruits of that. Right? Look at those smiles. I don't know why Ben doesn't know how to smile. He really doesn't. Right? Nobody would look at this family and say that's weird. Nobody would look at this family and think twice about it. Right? We only wear those pajamas once.
I was going to say I love those pajamas.
Right? Now, they look at this family and they think it's weird. But they would have thought this is normal. And you know what? Honestly, that's another thing that pops into our heads. Oh my gosh, you're pregnant again? People are going to think we're so crazy.
We have to tell people.
You should see when we walk through Costco. People think we're like aliens. Right? We got 2 carts full of kids and then we don't have any stuff yet. Right? So, but this is my family. this is why I think we were put on this earth, right? And not only is it for me and is it for her, but it's for them. And not only is it for them. Who's she going to marry? Who's she going to marry? Whose life is she going to save? Right? Whose life is she going to save?
It's the ripple effect.
So here's some homework for you guys. Say thank you to Grandpa. Right? If you're here, I thank you to Mama Dia. Right? Mama Dia changed the world. How? Mama Dia had 7 kids. Mama Dia had 7 kids. Mama Dia had 7 kids in Tinkef when she didn't have any money in the bank, when she lived in a dirt house, when she didn't know where the food was coming from the next day, and she had 7 kids. She had an abusive husband, and she had 7 kids. She stayed open to life, right? And you know who took care of Mama Dia when her husband passed away? Who? Her kids, right? Laura and I, we went to a marriage retreat 2 years ago. We met another couple, wonderful couple, right? And the husband, he worked in the end of life. He was a hospice doctor. And he said, I've been doing it for 20 years, and I've been getting to know my patients, and I ask them questions for my own personal information. And he asked every patient, when they're dying, what was your biggest regret in life? Overwhelmingly, the men say, I wish I didn't work so much. Overwhelmingly, the women say, I wish I had more kids. And he sees it. He sees it as their doctor. The ones with 1 or 2 children are there by themselves, and they die alone. Right? Think about that. So, Mama Dia changed the world. Look at this guy. Oh, Pierre. That's my first guy, right? Mama Dia. Right? How many lives has he touched and will touch? You know, he's going to Iraq for a year. What's he going to do there? Right? But it would have been easy for Mama Dia to say, hey, 2 kids? You know, this family looks about 1/8 of the size.
That's not even everyone.
Nobody would have blamed her. Yeah, that was just who showed up on Christmas or Easter. This is how we're going to change the world.